People, deluded. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Good afternoon, good morning, good night. And, if you're over here in the UK, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. I'm sure a lot of you are coming in from work or saying that, apologies, saying that a lot of you are probably shutting off from work and closing down your laptops. And I know I normally do earlier streams, but I haven't had much time today. So I thought, you know what, you still got to get it in. I'm doing it now. I apologize for starting 30 seconds later. I'm not even going to lie, people. I was very hungry. I was eating some cheese and crackers, and I hope you're all doing well and safe, whoever you are, wherever you are. Big up the members. As you can see, Subi's here. He never misses a live stream or a video. I appreciate all your support. I also appreciate the fact that you're a member. For those that are looking to become members or wants to see what it's all about, the link's in the video is pinned. Go and check that out. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in, and don't forget to sub, as you can see with the little infographic and whatnot. Big up Rion, big up Igal. Not too sure what Liam's alluding to there. I assume he's alluding to Willian, but Willian's there. We're gonna get onto him. Big up yourself for tuning in. Black Halo, thank you very much for your kind words. I'm all well and safe, and my loved ones are all well and safe as well. So I can't ask for much more. I hope the same can be extended to you. In fact, not only you, but your loved ones and everyone else watching this video. Wayne, I will make your moderator. You're gonna have to bear with me. It's gonna have to be after this live, so it will pattern up. But right now, we're gonna have to deal with what we've got to deal with. Now, we've got a lot to speak about. First and foremost, if you're Arteta, you've had a lot of time to reflect on what has been your role at Arsenal this season, what you feel you could have done better, what the team should have done better, what's worked, what's not worked. And then international break. Now, international period is always a nervy time for all fans, and all managers, apologies. Players might come back injured, your players might be overused. All of these sort of things, people are all relevant. So you're even more concerned, with the whole COVID stuff in mind now as well. And is it any mistake how you're seeing, or you've seen across the international period, there's been an outbreak in COVID? A lot of players, well, let me pick my words wisely in relation to a lot of players, but there's been a lot of COVID outbreaks. And, for Arsenal, sadly, El Nene's got it. Now Kolasinac has contracted it and obviously will not play for his nation, and will have to begin the process of quarantining. Hopefully, I believe, in fact, on the topic of El Nene, I'm so sure they've even said him and Mo Salah have taken COVID tests and they're still negative and things like that. As I was saying as well, you've seen a player contract it while actually playing against England. England players have been helped. You've seen someone get a half-time for Croatia. So I don't think players are being helped out by the fixture schedule. And, the Premier League should even have 5 subs. Seeing EFL do that was good. And obviously the whole COVID stuff. So if you're Arteta or any coach, you're wondering, are your players going to make it back in one piece? And now you're going to be without 3 players at Arteta, at least potentially for this game. You've got El Nene, you've now got Kolasinac, potentially Willian as well. We might as well move on to Willian. But before I do that, people, the signature said, can I get a shout out for Sports Hub X, please? First and foremost, my guy, the signature, thank you very much for that $3.99. Every little helps. You've departed with money that you work hard for, so I appreciate that. Second of all, big up Sports Hub X. Don't know, they're doing their thing, so hope I've given you what you needed. A lot of you are saying I'm on time. All right, cool. I thought I was late because on StreamYard it gives me a little clock and it says it's showtime, and I thought I was behind in that regard. So I'm happy I'm on time and I didn't let you guys down. But on the topic of Willian, now there's been a lot of rumblings. He was pictured in Dubai. Now again, I don't know if he's still eligible to play for Brazil. Has he retired from international football? I don't know. At 32, they're probably not going to select him anyways because he's not the future. And he's probably not in their plan. So with that being said, if Arsenal have, said, okay, cool, the boys have a couple of days off, you can do what you want. He's within his rights to be in Dubai. He's within his rights to go there and whatnot. Again, the players that haven't been called up to international duty, so like off the top of my head, the Lacazettes, the Joe Willocks, the Reece Nelson, together with Arteta, you'd imagine that these guys would still be reporting to training and still taking part in some level of training. Typically these guys would be involved. This is where the young players get their opportunities, because the young players are obviously going to have to make up numbers in training. So You know, I'm not too sure why he wasn't in training or why he's the only one that's flown abroad. But you also have to consider that Arsenal have given them days off and actually sanctioned him to go on holiday. As you lot know, Dubai, a lot of people, just normal people in the UK and influencers and all of those people out there, you know, because there's no need to, I don't think you have to, when you go over there, you don't have to, what's the word, quarantine and the rest of it. So people are utilizing that to go on holiday. And if that's Willian's within his rights. Obviously, he's pictured with the influencer Salt Bay, and I don't want to speculate and things like that, but we all know Willian has a restaurant in England. Now, could he have been using this as networking opportunity or business sort of relations? Because he's got a restaurant with David Luiz. You're bucking an influencer in Salt Bay. Could you be reasoning, or could he have been on a family holiday in which, again, he's within his rights? And again, if the players have said you're allowed to do, I mean, if Arteta and the board and whoever have said the boys can go on holiday or they have days off, Willian's allowed to do what he wants. Now, saying that, you know, it is obviously irresponsible for obvious reasons. You leave this country, you put yourself in risk of potentially doing this. And not that Willian's actually, we're going to miss Willian, but on a serious note, Arteta has one less player to utilize or pick from. And you know, a blind man could have foreseen this coming. You've went on holiday, you know this could be a thing. And, you know, apparently he has to test negative to be allowed to train again at Arsenal. I think he will test negative because I don't think he's contracted it. But let's just say he has. It would be a serious own goal. You know, it's never nice somebody missing out, but potentially him missing out. You know, say Pepe. You know, we're all calling for Pepe to start now. You know, Pepe starts. He plays a blinder on the weekend, which we all hope he does. You know, Willian might lose his place in the starting lineup for a hot second now, people. So that's the risk he's taken. So he shot himself in the foot, and it's a bit irresponsible because again, you know, you're a 32-year-old, you're an experienced player. You know, you ain't seen Joe Willock or Reece Nelson or these young impressionable players who, you know, you're seeing all the rappers and that in Dubai. Them lot could have said, you know, we ain't been called up, let's go. They're focusing on what they're focusing on. Now, I'm not saying Willian isn't focused on football, but it's not a good look now, you know. Fans are going to use this as a stick to beat you with, and it was silly. And for me, I sympathise with Arteta. Whatever you say about Willian, whatever you say about Kolasinac, and whatever you say about El Nene, those are 3 less players for him to pick from. And as much as I might rate or might not rate or whatever with some of these players, people, you know, it's a squad game. We've got a lot of football to be played. You know, I'm not trying to look past these next 3 games because it's peak for us, but we've got a lot of football. So all the squad is going to have to be utilized. And again, you know, purely from a sporting point of view, Willian, he's a professional athlete. He knows he hasn't been playing well. He hasn't scored. He's an attacking player and he hasn't scored for his club. I'm sure with the break, it was a time to get in headspace and, you know, find some clarity and forgive yourself for what's happened and go again. He shot himself in the foot. Now, I hope he tests his negative. And obviously, with that being said, he's allowed to do what he's allowed to do and play for us. I'd imagine that, like I said, to reiterate my final point, I'd imagine he was given days off by the club. Not that I can confirm this, and he you know, done what he wanted to do with his days off. As long as they say report back at this time, you're off for this period, and you do what you need to do, there should be no worries. Or maybe if we take it one step ahead, maybe he asked Arsenal for permission and they said yes, which I don't think is the scenario. But let's just say it happened. It would obviously be irresponsible from Arsenal, you know. So it is what it is. It's just irresponsible, and because of this, it's another unnecessary talking point and things like that, people. So that's all there is to say about Willian, really. You know, why was he in Dubai exactly? We don't know. You should have been on the training pitch focusing on football. Not that I'm one to think just because you're playing well, I mean, you're not playing well means you need to, you know, be doing that, and it means you're not focused. But it's just not a good look. It's just more negative press for Willian. It's just his name in the, you know, in the press more so than it needs to be, you know. And I'm pretty sure no Arsenal fan thought, you know, he's hardly going to set the world alight at this club, but you thought at least he'd be a good supplementary option. I thought he would be one of them where he would just frustrate me in terms of his decision making in the final third. Like he's grabbing some goals, he's grabbing some assists, but he's just frustrating. He hasn't quite been that. And I want to personally be proven wrong on Willian. You know, I don't rate Willian necessarily too highly. I don't think he's the worst player, but at the same time, I don't rate him. I can't really understand this signing, you know, especially when it hasn't hit the ground running. But I want to be proven wrong. You know, I want to see egg on my face in the next 3 games. If he scores or assists or does something of significance, he's a hero. And I want to see that from not just Willian, but a number of players. Because again, It's a chance to start again. You know, we can't forget what's already happened this season, but we cannot feel sorry for ourselves. If we're feeling sorry for ourselves with these next 3 games, you're playing Nuno, you're going against Bielsa, and you've got Jose Mourinho, we're going to get eaten alive. So we can't feel sorry for ourselves, people, at all. I've got another super chat, which I believe's been here for a while. I haven't even looked. Apologies. Any thoughts on Edmonton's home airline shenanigans? Salute still. Thank you very much for that super chat, Christian. Love for the $5. Love for departing with your hard-earned money. It is what it is. I don't want to speculate too much on that, you know, all that food shit, all that sort of woo-woo stuff. But it is what it is. It gets cracking anyway. You can't just turn off. You got to turn up in it, and you know, depending on what you think of it, you know, if my guy's in the fight, not that know any more than others, I wouldn't be doing up the phone thing. That's for sure. It's this generation love a phone thing, and all of these things. You know, nothing could have really happened, and it's just an unnecessary inconvenience, really and truly. And it just, you know, it's just nonsense, really. Like, it's just no, that's all I've got to say on it. It's just nonsense, man. But back to football anyways. Yeah, Willian, right now in time, provided he tests negative, I believe he's allowed back in training, but there might be some sort of self-imposed quarantine that Arsenal might run away from what the airlines are doing. But apparently he has to test negative. Now, you'd imagine it's business as usual. And people like, you'd imagine it's business as usual, and people like Willian be able to play if he does pass the test. It would just be stupidness. I thought you're meant to not go on holiday in this lockdown. To be fair, I don't know, but you know, the borders are open with Dubai. Apparently you don't need to quarantine, or there's something you don't need to do around quarantine. I don't want to speak like I really know, but people exploiting it. There's got to be a coincidence. Like for me, I'm seeing a lot of people my age and slightly older and whatnot. Everybody's going to Dubai. You're seeing all the influencers, you're seeing all the rappers, as somebody already said in the super chat. Everyone's going to Dubai. So I don't know what's in Dubai for everybody that everyone wants to look at. You know, Rant said it was dead, to be fair. He said it was good, but dead, to be fair. So I don't know what it is, but either way, Williams thought, you know what, let me go over there. And again, he doesn't go over there. We don't talk about this. And when you're 32 years of age and you're not playing like the mature, like you look at someone like Saka. Obviously, Saka's been in the England squad, but Saka and these young players off the field have shown more maturity in the sense of this doesn't make you mature, but why did you go out there and do this? So it's one. And on the field, obviously, Saka is putting people to shame and Saka is playing like the 32-year-old in comparison to Willian. And I know many Arsenal fans, obviously not for the means in which Willian will miss out, and we're hoping the man, you know, his health is still good, and fundamentally that's all that matters. Certain people are saying, you know, this could be a blessing in disguise because, you know, that opens up the door to Pepe now. You know, you're looking at Pepe. I'd say Pepe, Lacazette, and I hope Reece Nelson, I hope they get opportunities, to be fair with you. I don't mean opportunities for Lacazette. I meant Eddie Nketiah. In the sense of, I might not think Eddie Nketiah is the future, and he's got his own question marks. But Lacazette, and I hope, first and foremost, I hope Lacazette plays well, because if Lacazette's playing well in an ideal world, if Eddie's playing well, if Aubameyang's playing well, if Martinelli, when he comes back, is playing well, these are all fantastic headaches for us as fans, and, you know, for Arteta in a positive way. But in a sense of, you know, I don't think Eddie is going to develop to be that consistent goal scorer for Arsenal. I want him to. I want to be proven wrong. I think he has a future at Arsenal in terms of being in the squad. In relation to an elevated hierarchy, that's down to him. But what he's got is a fantastic opportunity. As I said, I hope Lacazette scores goals, because you never like to see a man down. And the more players we have playing well, the better Arsenal are. But Eddie must have a chance now. He's got his own question marks. But if you've got Lacazette's poor form, and it's been neck and neck since you've returned from Leeds, this is your chance to elevate him. Now, you need to show you can score goals and, you know, really affect the game when you're not being on the peripheral of things, not you know, snatching at chances. You know, you look at him. Pepe, this is your chance to make Willian sit out for a significant period of time. You know, this is a chance for you to even just lock down. It's not that you know what, the way it is with Pepe could have played a blinder against City and he might have still been dropped. So this could still happen against Leeds. But Pepe's got an opportunity. If Willian misses out, you'd expect Pepe to start. You know, if he plays well, hopefully he retains his spot. And, you know, Willian has to sit out, because we've all seen, you know, Willian's had whatever we've got to say about Pepe, because he's got his own question marks. He hasn't been given that extended run. You know, Willian has. What could Pepe do with that? What could Reece Nelson do with that? If they don't do it, then it is what it is. Now, I would love to see Nelson get opportunities, because in the little dribs and drabs he's had this season, I think Reece Nelson has done relatively well, people. Obviously, with him, he keeps getting these little niggling injuries like Smith Rowe, and when you keep getting them, you're not really fit and available, and you're not really able to earn your manager's elevated trust in that, yo, I know I'm a young player, but you can start me. Like with Saka, you know, it don't matter what weather, what opponent, Saka is seen as a genuine option. If Saka is dropped, it's because Arteta or whoever has seen or thought that they can do something better tactically. It's not because Saka's young and his temperament and all of those sort of things, you know. And I don't think it's just. I think we look at it, myself included, that it's Willian or Pepe, and it should be. One's an experienced player signed on a big contract. One was signed for big money in terms of add-ons. You know, we shouldn't have Saka and Reece Nelson really in a serious world. If you look were moving how you're supposed to be, these lot shouldn't be getting a sniffing in terms of consistent football. They should be rotation. But I think Nelson could sniff at a chance. I think with Nelson, it's just a confidence thing, as is it with Pepe. So, you know, not that everybody's playing well, but there's opportunities. But it's all depends on, will Arteta give people opportunities is another thing, you know. And it's a shame that none of our attacking players are really excelling in that front, people. EG, if I'm being mad real, I don't mind the man being out, and that's what I'm saying. You know, I'm sure, again, I think I speak for you when I say, you know, from a health point of view, you know, you're not out here wishing ill health on a man and things. But you know, it's a blessing in disguise in that he's not available. He physically can't play. Go with someone else, whether that's Pepe, whether that's Nelson, whatever. You know, Willian might just miss out this game and be back in the next game, my guy. So who knows? But I fully see where you come from. Apologies, people. You know how good honey and green tea is. Smash the like button, as Subi said, and as you can see with the pretty little infographic. Toby said, what's your predictions on the game on Sunday? We're going to speak more about that tomorrow, and you know, when I bring out the predictions. But you'd expect an open game. Both teams concede a lot of goals. Both teams are poor on the transition, so there should be a lot of gaps. Saying that, then it means it's probably going to be a ball draw. Both teams are going to be scared to take it to the opposition. Obviously, Bielsa's a good tactician, whatever you say about him. Arteta's probably struggled the last two times he's been put in a situation or scenario where he's got an excel tactically. I think Dean Smith done a number on him and he didn't react, as did the players. And I think his game management, as poor as the players were, the game management of Arteta based on the Leicester game has to be called into question, because you could see the game turning. You could see from the second half, Leicester have said, okay, the shackles are coming off. You could see with Vardy, gaps are opening. I feel the players were very reactive, and as was Arteta. So with that in mind, if you're going against Bielsa, who, you know, had Pep Guardiola on the ropes, gave Klopp a scare this season, you know, they have conceded a lot of goals. They haven't they lost the last two games 4-1? I could be wrong. So, you know, there are some concerns, but, you know, if you've struggled tactically, you can't really go against you know, it's not really confident going against a Bielsa. And then after that, you've got Nuno, who's done well at Wolves, and you've got, you know, the historical tactical genius and the cerebral assassin in which is Jose Mourinho. Whatever you say about him, he's a fantastic tactical coach, and they're very good at winning. I always say sometimes it's not always 40 minutes or 45 minutes of football. Sometimes it's 4 10-minute games and, you know, a 5-minute final. These sort of things and what these games are going to be, and we need a reaction. I don't want to talk too much, but again, I don't know what he's going to do in terms of the lineup, but you'd imagine we go with 5 at the back, because he hasn't had too long to train with players and whatnot, because they've all been around and over the place. So we'll have to see, man. We'll really have to see what they're saying in that regards. But moving away from that, and let me roll up all the other talking points I had to sit here and speak about, people. As you know, we've spoken about Willian, and for the record, they actually said, or according to the Telegraph, Willian will have to record a negative corona test to be able to return to training at the club this week. The winger has spent part of the international break in Dubai after not being called up to Brazil for November's matches. And now Willian will now have to take a COVID-19 test, and it will have to come back negative before he can train at the Gooners. Although he has not had to self-isolate now back in the UK, the report claims that he'll have to take a test for illness to prove that he has not contracted it. As you lot know, Kolasinac has tested positive for corona, and he'll miss today's game against Italy for his nation, Bosnia. In case you haven't seen, on something I just didn't speak about and I haven't watched him, but 22-year-old Mitchell Bergkamp, son of legend Dennis Bergkamp, wasn't successful in his trial at Arsenal allegedly last week. I think he was just training there and his dad pulled some favors for him, and I don't think he was on trial. 22 years of age, why did we sign him at under 23s? But we have been quite poor at that level. We are fighting relegation. He could have been looking at a short-term contract. I don't know. But I think it was just a training thing. Either way, the week he spent at Arsenal with the under-23s has come to an end, allegedly, people. So it is what it is in that regards. Away from that and getting into transfers, and I'm scrolling up, people, I'll get to the Isco news. In fact, we're here. Now, the bulk of the report, you know, being linked with Isco, just basically said, and I only copied and pasted the relevant bits that I got it from, Talk of a 20 million euros January offer from Everton has been around in recent days. But it stated Real Madrid would be waiting for Arsenal to enter the picture, if only to provide competition for the Merseyside club and push the price up. Arsenal have been linked in previous years, yet this stance from Madrid appears to be more out of hope rather than anything else, with it even being stated that Mikel Arteta already has Dani Ceballos for a similar position. So yeah, people, as you lot know, Isco is 28 years of age. He's contracted until 2022. He's not playing and barely playing. If that for Zidane's side at Real Madrid, clearly they want to move him on. Now you see Everton might be in for him. You know, the last sort of player that everybody had as damaged goods or would have looked around that in James is proving a lot of people wrong. And you know, Arsenal might be worth taking a risk, because I'm not gonna lie, it's not that I don't want Isco. I'll definitely take him. I'm not gonna pull up my nose to him and make up noise, because we definitely need him. I will take him, you know, and you have got to take a risk and whatnot. And he does feel a bit like damaged goods. And when I say damaged goods, please, people, ability-wise, bops into many teams. You know, he's a baller, but is he going to make a difference at this club? I think yes, I think no. I think he can play further forward. I think, you know, being 28 years of age, could you change his game and make him sort of a builder, receiving it off the centre-halves and distributing it? Now, there's nobody else higher up the field, so there'd be a gap, but I think there's a bit of adaptability. At 28, he's got a significant period left. And when you look at someone like Isco, they're them players, like, I'm not saying Isco per se, but you look at him, you look at Mata, you look at David Silva, Bernardo Silva will happen to, you know, it's just about adapting your game as your legs go. They don't necessarily drop off, you know, their game is not centered around, you know, mad pace or being mad strong. It's all about thinking, and, you know, they're not going to lose their brains, you know, so it's always going to be there. But for me, 28 years of age, the wage you'd probably command, or what you're looking at Isco, away from the 20 million euros, because that's all right. But you know, it's probably not the best, you know, at 28. For me, if we're gonna sign a 28-year-old, which you describe as sort of a well-known player like Isco, for me, they've got to be banging in form, because you're going to give them big wages. It's not my money, I don't care, but it's like we're going to be in a situation where we've overstretched, you know, we're putting mad resources into a player or someone that we're not seeing maximum return from, and we're going to be in that. And if you did that in January, you know, Ozil would still be on the wage books. You still gave Aubameyang a new deal. You know, you've given out Willian a poor piece of business, giving Willian one. So how much would that affect our business, especially if we're not qualifying for the Champions League? How much is this going to affect what we can do? I would be open to taking him on loan, of course, but in relation to a loan spell, that's wishful thinking, as I believe we've got Dani Ceballos. So unless you was to make one of them permanent, I don't know if you can have two players on loan from one club in the Premier League, you know, or two players from the same club on loan. I don't know. Clearly, based on this report, it just seems that Real Madrid are hoping Arsenal are interested, and more saying we're interested because you can see we lack creativity, because it's a cast of, and that seems to be what Arsenal are looking at. You know, it seems that the article, or the journalist better yet, of this article is bored, and it's just basically, you know, hoping Arsenal, but it's basically saying Madrid hope Arsenal get involved just to drive up the offers that Everton or any other club that might be legitimately offering for Isco might be happening. And as you lot know, you know, you're seeing Szoboszlai and Aouar. You'd imagine those are first choice targets before Isco, not necessarily because of ability, because of more resale value and in line with budget. On ability alone, I would take Isco. On all variables covered, I probably would not take Isco, and probably I would take him if worse came to worse. Like if I had 5 targets, I'd pursue the 4. If it's looking iffy, then we'd look at Isco. I wouldn't cry if Isco signed. I just think it's one we shouldn't go for. But Isco is a baller, people. Isco is a baller, and he deserves to be somewhere where he can actually play football, and he deserves to play football and get his career back on track. You know, exactly like M said, you know, Isco's got to be perfect. He could be a stopgap, but then again, it goes down to, can you have Ceballos and Isco on loan at the same time? I don't think you can. Big up Lauren in the building. Big up people from South Africa locked in. Come on, people. Big up JA, of course, people. So I'm not too sure if it makes sense. I would like to go for Isco, of course, but it's not going to make sense, man. On ability, I'd take him. He's my sort of player. You lot know me. I'm of the Arsene Wenger, like, school of Arsene Wenger. I'd love 11 playmakers, you know. Isco's, Santi, Cess, Ozil's. Bear these poetry and motion dons would play for me, but I don't think Isco is quite what we need in terms of the skill set and what he brings. Yeah, but the variables and everything else, we should stay clear, man. Maybe it's a thing where if he sits on his his hands in January and stays at Madrid? Can we look at it in the summer? But you'd imagine Isco's situation has to change. I don't know how much he's favoured in the Spain squad, but you'd imagine not playing on a regular basis might sway people's decisions as to whether you're going to play or not. It will be called up for the Euro. So it's a decision for Isco to make. As you know, we've been linked with Eriksen, and again, those links have appeared. You know, I saw on Twitter, it said, among the clubs that have approached Christian Eriksen's agent, Martin Schutz, is Arsenal through a well-known intermediary operating on the Milan-London axis. Though Arteta's first choice is Hossam Aouar, for whom they had a 40 million offer rejected. So again, copied and pasted from Google Translate. But what do you get from that? It's a middleman trying to probably, you know, the paper is saying that a middleman is trying to get Eriksen from Inter Milan for Arsenal. But what I think that is like you see a lot of times in football, people, agents get paid. There's a lot of agents, you know, you know, how can I make it make sense? Some agents might never have anything to do with an Arsenal deal directly, but they might be involved along the way. As you lot know, when there's money involved, there's little other people with hands coming. So an agent's probably looking at it as, you know what, it's the January market. You know, I reckon I can get Eriksen a move somewhere. I reckon I can use my contact books to get Eriksen a move. As a middleman in this move, I might not be anyone's official agent. I'm a middleman. I just make a little drink, whether that's a little 10, 20%, you know. I've made my little 1,000 quids or 1,000 or whatever. So it just seems like that to me. It seems like an agent is seeing a buck can be made, looking at the fact that Arsenal lack creativity quite clearly in our team. Eriksen's move to Inter Milan hasn't worked, and saying, yo, something can happen. Even if he was to come to Arsenal, again, it's probably a loan thing. I like Eriksen. I'd rather Isco than Eriksen, but it's the same thing. You know, you can't really marginalize Mesut Ozil and then sign Eriksen. They're different players, of course, but you're signing the exact same thing. And with Eriksen, it's almost the same of what I'm saying about Isco. If he's coming, he's going to want to sign for big wages based on where he's played, based on where his age is at, and definitely because of them London ties. I definitely, you know, when I'm getting called a snake and these things, the one thing I want is some cake. So there's that. Obviously, he's going to want a big wage, you know. If I'm him, I say big wages and a lengthy contract. I'm trying to get 4 or 5 year deals, or at least a 4-year contract with an option of another one. And I'm not trying to see my wages change at Inter Milan. So are Inter Milan going to give him compensation to get him off the wage book? Are Arsenal going to give him those exact offers? Even if we was to take him on loan, what would the loan fee be? How much percentage of his wages would we have to cover? It's the costly operation. Of course, when I look at Arsenal's dying need for creativity, he is someone I would consider, but you can't see it. I can't see Eriksen happening in January. I can't see Isco happening unless it's a permanent one. I very much doubt Aouar was going to join Arsenal in January. I hope it's the case, but I don't think for a number of variables that one day is going to happen. Szoboszlai seems to be the most realistic, and it just seems that, you know, the race for him is hotting up. He almost went to AC Milan. Every game he plays in Europe now is being monitored. He seems on the verge of going to going to Leipzig or going to a German club. And again, his agent is doing his best to quash things and saying nothing's happened or nothing's been agreed. When I hear nothing's been agreed, I hear that and I accept that. And I think there's a race on and there's a battle on for Arsenal. But I also think if I'm an agent, I might very well agree a fee with Leipzig. I might be in talks. I just said nothing's been agreed. You know, saying nothing's been agreed isn't lying. I could be in talks. Literally, I'm saying I'm not in talks to sign Thomas Szoboszlai. But I'm chatting to his agent. He's not about to sign immediately. It's a little white lie sort of thing. You'd imagine he goes there. You'd imagine that's the next step in his development, to go to Germany, solidify himself at a sort of medium club, and then go to Bayern Munich, who, you know, have offers or want to put offers in for him. You know, potentially even make the jump to Dortmund, play in the Champions League, and then go to the Madrids and all these other teams. Of course, I would love Arsenal to get Szoboszlai. I think, you know, I'd love him and Aouar. I think they're two different players. I think Aouar was probably better deeper in the field, and in the final third or further forward, Szoboszlai is good. Szoboszlai would have to improve a lot defensively, and there's a lot more all-round gameplay things in his game he needs to improve. But he comes alive in and around the area. He knows how to take a set piece, and he wants to make the difference. He's got that knack of being an important player, so I would love him. Obviously, the age he's at, the wages he'd command, and obviously this resale value and the fee his current club would want all make these factors, people. They want 25 million euros for him as his release clause, and Arsenal, as they have done for a number of seasons, continue to scout him. According to Fabrizio Romano, more of what we already expect. Arsenal are seriously interested in Dominik Szoboszlai. He has a 25 million release clause, but there are 3 or 4 other clubs interested. It's possible that he'll leave in January and probably go to Germany. So there's probably a couple of German clubs, you know, there's probably Arsenal, there's probably another foreign club, probably AC Milan. And he said there's 4 clubs that are interested. There's probably a bag of clubs monitoring developments, people, which is good for Dominik Szoboszlai because he's got more options. It's good for Salzburg, his current club, because they're going to make more P's. It's good for his agent because there's more bread for his thing. What I would say to Szoboszlai, the only thing Arsenal could probably offer him, then certain other clubs, is it's a place to develop before you potentially move on to those other clubs. And I would love him, but I could see how he'd have his head turned very quickly. Fabrizio Romano has also said we are interested in Ato Abbas. He has said this kid has great potential, a name that has a really great command of his feet. He moves very easily with the ball. He's also fast and agile. Now, when I looked, I saw that he's 22 years of age. He appears to be at a Turkish club. I can't pronounce their name. Beyond that, he looks like a decent player. He looks like he can play as an attacking mid. He looks like he can play on the flanks as well. And he's 22 years of age. I ain't watched him to say any informed opinion. I don't know if Arsenal are legitimately interested in him. If you go back as far as March, just by typing his new name in Google, you see Leipzig and a couple of clubs wanted him. So is Arsenal's name being thrown into this mud just to get clout and do other things? Only you lot would be able to tell me your opinions on that, because I think it is, people. Make sure you're smashing the like button. Big up them. What are you lot saying, people? Big up yourself as well, my guy. Yeah, man, big up AFC Bell, because he was right about Partey. I hope it's Szoboszlai. I hope it Szoboszlai or Aura, bring them. I hope it's both, When that Oracle speaks, I'll be here with a video. Shout out to AFC Bell. Shout out to, is it ZG, ZR Arsenal? You got LT Arsenal. You got a bunch of them, good Twitter accounts, man. Mr. Arsenal, I don't know how they get their info. They do their thing. Aye, people, make sure you check out the Talk is Cheap show. Arsenal Fan TV, AFTV finally freed me like Arteta needs to do with Ozil. I'm getting a bit more of a look in now. Shout out to Laurie and Curtis Shaw for busting me on it. Laurie wasn't trying to let me live, man. Man was saying young buck. Man said I look like Pepe. Laurie was on me, but shout out to him. He's good people, man. He's good people. What else you lot saying, man? That's the thing, my guy, when that's what I'm saying, Ahmad, Isco's one of them, man, just scream Isco, Isco, Isco. I'm not one to care about stats, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, I agree they probably are, but I think Isco's skill set would more help Arsenal, and I think he's a better footballer. That being said, like I said, when I look away from his ability, he's probably not someone to go through. I think we need someone with a bit more longevity. I think, again, James Rodriguez, I was saying the same thing I'm saying, and then you saw what he's on. Bit different, but I was saying that as well. So who knows? But I share what you mean, my guy. It's like one of them that people just scream. But I think I speak for many Arsenal fans when you say, you know what, we're so collapsed that it can't be any worse. Big up Turkish in the building as well, man. Big up Turkish. Make sure you're subscribed to Turkish LDN. If you're not, can't imagine you don't know Donny. We need to be back on his channel, man. Man, people pressure him. I'm trying to make this a two a week show, or mine on his, and you can see when it is a consistent one, it's because I'm doing it. Like, pressure Turkish people. Don't let him live. Big up Turkish. He was here the other day as well, man. Make sure you check out his content and the rest of it. Big up Adrian. You've been missing, man. I ain't seen you for a minute, my guy. Big up Omar. He's in the building. Subi again. Arsenal's problem is we don't have enough players in the region of 24 to 27. I see where you're going. I just don't think there's a plan, bro, because I know we do this youngster thing. We talk about resale value, especially because we lack money as a club. And, there's plenty of players that are in their early teens to early 20s, mid 20s in our team. But equally, you look at it, you say Willian, David Luiz, previously Socrates, more so last season. The players that were playing on a majority basis were quite past it, sort of thing. And I'm not one to care about age, car. Yourself, Arsenal fans are a bit weird. The minute someone hits 27, 28, even 29, we're like, oh my God, we can't give them a new deal. We got to move them on. It's a bit mad, isn't it? So we'll have to see, man. Like you said, man. I'd love to see that, man. I'd love to see that. Has AFC Bell said a new thing? Has he said something new today? Because you lot are getting me excited. Only women can do that. But you lot are making me want to check stuff, people. If you lot are capping, AFC Bell, let me type this in real quick. Has he said something new? Okay, 18 minutes ago. Courtesy of Google Translate, people. Obviously, shout out to my Arabic people, but I can't understand that. Courtesy of Google and Google Translate, it says the information was also first and exclusively published on Football London in 2019, confirms that Arsenal have opened communication channels with Dominic Szoboszlai's camp recently. The talks are in initial stages and nothing has happened yet, but the club is impressed and targeting the player's profile. More details tomorrow evening. And Thursday was when AFC Bell said he was going to do this thing, and I hope it is the case. I hope Arsenal are interested, and I hope these links that you're seeing him to other clubs, I hope they're what's the word I would call it, a smoke screen and things like that. But at the same time, I can see that Arsenal do have legit interest. We've been linked with him. People have said he's a good player. Arteta is coy on Szoboszlai. His age, his profile, the resale value, the club that we could buy him for, all of these things, like with buying Saliba, who is not playing, like with Partey being a bit different, but being 45 million. These are all scenarios that Arsenal have to look at, and I hope to God Szoboszlai is there. But for me, it says talks are at initial stages. That means they're putting the feelers out. It comes down to our negotiation. One thing I have confidence about is whether it's been Aubameyang signing a new deal or convincing Thomas Partey to come to this club and leave Atletico Madrid in Champions League football. Whether we agree with what Arteta is doing or not, he is saying something to convince these players. Maitland-Niles, he's not of the stature of Aubameyang and Partey, but he was going to leave this club. When he stayed, what did he say? Arteta's convinced me that I can still improve. So he's got something. So I have faith in Arteta selling the project, potentially, somehow it's worked. But it's all about the people around him. How good are our advisors? Because typically Arsenal have been able to identify players. Like you've seen with the many we've tried, we've not got it over the line. And I would like to see it happen in January. From a sporting point of view, we need the player. And obviously, if he's going to move other places, we need him now. But at the same time, it makes me think, is it too little, too late? Are they going to, know that we're desperate? If other clubs are circling, because it's 25 million euros, even in a COVID environment, is nothing to some clubs. For us, that's a lot. So we'll wait for more details tomorrow, people. But, if talks are at initial stages, that means we're putting the feelers out. We're seeing the feasibility. We're seeing how we could structure a deal. We're probably a long way away from personal terms and the bulk of it being decided, Dominic Szoboszlai, for what it's worth, I believe he should take his time over whatever club he's going to be at, because you'd imagine, being 20, 21 years of age or so, you want to do a bulk of your development at your next club, which I said, for me, I'd look to go to Germany. Can you go to Leipzig, where you've seen players move on? Can you go to Dortmund? I wouldn't. Apparently, he's a big fan of the Premier League. I would like him at Arsenal. Again, I don't want to be a stepping stone, but we have to be honest, Szoboszlai, Gabriel, if Szoboszlai came, Gabriel, Saliba, by God's grace, Martinelli. I'm not saying they look at it as a stepping stone, but you can look at this as a place with Arteta and what we're doing to help us in the short and immediate term, kind of develop as a footballer, refine yourself. Then if these big boy teams come for you, then there's a decision to make. It is what it is. And for Arsenal, that can help us. You bring him in for 25 million, you sell him for 50 or more, that can be reinvested. And that's one thing we don't reinvest. We should be thinking about what happens when we sell players the moment we get them. Like it's, when the moment Saliba, for instance, walked through this door, we should have had a plan of what we want to do with the Don. Okay, he's not ready. He's going to go to this club on loan. We're going to liaise with him and stuff in line with the stuff we've heard with the personal issues. And we're going to make sure he's at a club, and more specifically, under a manager that understands what he's going through, understands the level he's at, understands the philosophy that we want to do, and has a similar philosophy. Cool, because we've spoken about him wanting to be the next defender here for a decade. We hear, he's a Rolls Royce, next Varane. If he's going to do all of those things and become a France international, unless Arsenal become a Champions League winning club, you'd imagine, what used to happen where there's a decision to make. And if he can be brought in for 30 and sold for more, of course, we don't want players to leave, but we can't be naive and think it's going to last forever. Sold, reinvest the funds, is as simple as that. The same with Gabriel, if he continues, Gabriel got called up to Brazil's under 23s. I can't imagine it's not too long before he's called up for the proper team. But we'll have to see what's happening, man. We'll have to see. But nonetheless, hopefully the Szoboszlai thing is real, people. I hope it's real, but we'll have to see, man. That's it, Like Turkish said, Szoboszlai watch 7:45. And remember, speaking of him for Hungary, and again, he scored the goal that helped his country qualify for the Euros. So his stock is going to continuously go up now, For me, if I was actually him, I'd probably sit on my, now that I think about it, I might actually just sit on my hands for the season because, you know, you've got a Euros now, you know, you've got a good thing going for you with your club. You're playing in Europe, you know, you might go out, but, you know, he's gonna play there. Then you deal with a move. You got the Euros, you play good in the Euros, you sit on your hands and go into the Euros. What other clubs could be interested in you? What more money could you earn and things like that? So I think it'd be worth sitting on his hands, man. You know, his stock is rising, and I want Szoboszlai. I remember being on live streams with Turkish all the time, telling him about this done. Rion, I do not look like that guy from Get Out. You're getting put on timeout for that cheeky. Ah, man. Saka is starting for England. Apparently, one of you said check AFC Bell again. He's got a new update. A big up unknown. He said, can we expect Arsenal's activity in the coming summer window with simplified analysis of what the club did behind the scenes last summer? Is Arsenal a payroll for signing with Dominic Szoboszlai? Is Hossam Aouar still possible? The answers to these questions are according to what we have information tomorrow evening, Mecca time. So again, you know, we'll have to see what's said in that regards. But again, I do think, like Turkish said, if you're a serious club, you go for Aouar and Szoboszlai. You know, you need both of those. And I don't like how I always say football's a squad game, people, and it is very much a squad game. You can't really rely on one singular man. Like, not to sound greedy, but we've got Thomas Partey, and Thomas Partey is a fantastic player. But what happens if Partey is injured like he is now? God's grace, he's back, but he's injured now, or he's suspended, or whatever. Or, you know, we need other options. I don't want us to just place all our hopes on one man to fix us creatively. We need a system that breeds creativity. We need more players. You know, we need creativity in abundance, and that's why I think all our midfielders need to complement each other. You know, I look at our midfield. The only one I really have, you know, is Partey. Obviously, Elnene's done his thing this year, and he's probably the closest thing, excluding Partey, we have to a defensive mid sort of ball-winning midfielder. But in an ideal world, you've got two men that can do that, or they've just got that sort of thing in their locker. You've got someone that's a bit more and a couple more players that are a bit more crazier going forward. Aouar, Szoboszlai, I'm happier with either one. If I get Szoboszlai, I'm expecting free kicks. If I'm getting Aouar, I'm expecting playmaking from deep. Aouar's got a lot more to improve. Got a lot to improve. He's more of an 8 than a 10, in my opinion. But he can be. That's where the creativity comes from. It comes from these 8.5. I do think Aouar can develop into a very, very fine player, man. If we sign Aouar, he has to drop the name DG. I would love that, man. It make a guy go clear, man. Make a guy go clear. Wouldn't mind him, but I'd stay clear of him for now. You know, stock's kind of been on the floor for a sec, but again, football can change, man. I hope not, but either way, goals in this. Even whatever you said about Bruno Fernandes, I'll take that at Arsenal. Not that I'm happy with it, but we don't have a creative focal point that's going to score goals or even score an assist and mask bummy performances. You know, we ain't even got that, so it's gazy for us, people. Really gazy. Let's hope you're wrong in that regards, Hamid. Let's hope you're wrong in that regards. Big up everybody locked in. Please make sure you hit the like button. Please make sure you check out the YouTube memberships. Thank you very much once again for the super chats we've had so far. So we've spoken about a bag of players, really and truly, people. You know, it don't really seem like there's much on the transfer front, man. It's like what? Spoken about this Abbas guy who, you know, more people might know more than him, more than me. Again, Szoboszlai, you know, you got Fabrizio, you've got, you know, Arsenal Bell and everyone talking about him. There's got to be something in him, but until the man is signed, who knows? You've obviously got the whole Xhaka to Inter Milan and Eriksen to Arsenal. You know, it could be worth selling Xhaka, but even unless we bring in a midfielder in January, I don't even think selling Xhaka is the wisest of things. You know, as I don't necessarily, you know, Xhaka, Bellerin, Lacazette, Kolasinac. Shout out to El Nene. Shout out to Eddie, but Eddie, you know, off the top of my Cedric Suarez, off the top of my head, if offers came in for certain players, I'd entertain it, you know. But admittedly, in January, it's difficult because, again, I recognize you need a squad. There's a lot of games to be played. And as you can see already, we've had a significant amount of injuries. And now we're actually, through other reasons, we're missing some man now as well. So we'll have to see what's going to happen in that regards, people. We firmly are, man. Hopefully the Szoboszlai thing is beneficial, man. I guess we might have a stream then for around them times there. Unknown plug, I might make you a moderator because you're moving mad with the news, man. I'm liking what you're on. And, you know, Sakadinho, you know, as I call him. Moa said, do you think we need a winter on the right? A winger, I apologize. I think you meant a wing on the right more than a cam. Nah, man. I think we need a creative number 8, man. We need a number 8 that can do things from central midfield. I'd, you know, if I was a manager, I'd be more happy with my wide options right now at Arsenal than my midfield, really, excluding Partey. So, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hopefully this break can make Willian think about what he needs to do in it. Like, if you know, I don't rate Willian, but I want Willian. He'll always have my support like every player, and I want Willian to play well because it helps me as an Arsenal fan. I just want my team to win stuff or win or do better, and I want every player to do with that. And you know, if Willian comes out of the team through whatever's happened, and Pepe bangs, and Willian says, you know what, I see what I'm doing wrong. When Willian eventually gets a chance, he does his thing. I'm all for that. You know, that's what I wanted our wide options to be. I said that in my videos. Those that rock with me, you know, from the summer, I was saying, I want people to get chances. I don't want to be reactionary, but I want to see the competition really utilized on the flanks. You know, are you doing your thing? No, come off the field. Let the other guy. You look at Saka. Saka's playing above everyone, so his first name on the team sheet. It's all iffy right now with Willian and Pepe and Nelson, but you know, depending on what you've got to say. So I would like to see more people given opportunities, but I do think Willian's one of them, man. There, if he is allowed to play, he will play against Leeds. And if he does miss out, no matter, I do think Pepe can play his way into the team. But by the same logic, I think Pepe can have a blinder and then be taken out of the game, really and truly. Be taken out of the starting lineup, and again, Willian inserted back in. So we'll have to see, man. I even think I'll take 20 million for Eddie, but we have to put on a sell-on clause. I'm not going to lie. But I even think selling him for 20 million is a bit cheap. You know, I think if you, in an ideal world, you sell Lacazette, you bring in a next striker, you know, I'd entertain offers for Eddie and I wouldn't begrudge the club for selling him for 20 million. But could it be worth sending him on loan to another Premier League club for a season or so? Let's just say he has one breakout year, you know. We should be able to get decent piece for him. Now, you look at Brewster, you look at how, again, a lot of people say, oh, we can't look at what Liverpool got for Brewster and we can't get that for Eddie. And a lot of it's true. We should, you know, Solanke barely played for Liverpool and he somehow, you know, Liverpool finessed 20 million from Bournemouth. So you should. But at the same time, you know, you look at what Brewster did for Swansea or on loan at Swansea, how much more millions did that put on his price tag? You know, Eddie hasn't had a breakout season. He's had breakout moments. He hasn't had a breakout season. You know, I'm not going to sit here and act like Brewster scored 20 league goals because I don't know. But every time I was watching Swansea or Championship highlights or just trying to look in the Championship, it looked like Brewster was doing fairly well at Swansea. You know, there must be a reason as to why Sheffield were going for him. Now, is the experience he got in the Championship the difference maker? I don't know, because, you know, apparently Sheffield United wanted Balogun. They need a striker. You're going for someone that doesn't have senior experience. Maybe they didn't care for that. You know, you look at Tammy Abraham. Tammy Abraham had a great season at Bristol. He had a testing time in the Premier League for Swansea. But how much did both experiences help him and stuff and allow him to hit the ground running to a degree at Chelsea? You know, and for that, obviously homegrown and the fact that Lampard likes him means they won't be sold. But if he ever said, I want to sell Tammy or a Reece James or a Mason Mount or even Loftus-Cheek, how much are them man there seeing for that to get it? I would entertain 25-30 million for Eddie, you know, and a sell-on clause most crucially, car. We've got to eat, man. We've got to eat. I would love Buendia. I would love Buendia in our team as well. You know, he could be a cut price one as well, man. There's a lot of things Pepe needs to improve on himself, but I do think he deserves a run. Not that he deserves it, but Willian ain't been doing his thing. So either Reece Nelson, Pepe, you know, if there's a next youngster that or someone in the thinking process of Arteta, give them a chance, car. You know, it's fickle as football is. You know, we're only talking about Pepe because Willian is playing poorly. We'd be talking about Pepe and questioning him more, but, you know, Willian isn't doing the job, you know. Arsenal didn't bring in a midfielder for Arteta to use in that creative spot. Currently, Arteta hasn't shown me anything to show he's coaching the attacking team. So we're speaking about Mesut Ozil. That's how football is, you know. I personally am doing that because what we're seeing, we can't understand why these guys are not playing. Not that they're the answers, but they might answer questions more than the others. You know, if Arteta had a plan, if the club had a plan, we're not talking about several things. That's how fickle football is when you get down to it, really and truly. I would like Edward, man. Miles has said, you're such a nice guy, Deluded. Come over to Spurs with us and we can forgive your past. Never. Never. Shout out to Jermaine Defoe, though. I knew he was a spud, but there was a couple Spurs players I did like, man. Jermaine Defoe's for the culture. Actually, Robbie Keane, you know, you can't not like Bell. I used to actually work at Spurs, my guy, man. Bell was a cool guy in his first spell. He took a picture of, man. I know Danny Rose isn't exactly liked by Spurs fans anymore, but Danny Rose, you know, he was a cool guy when I asked him for a picture, as was former player Sandro. All of them were quite cool, really and truly. Wouldn't mind Daka, but I want to see a bit more consistency. It's like when man talk about him, about Thuram, about Ikone, about Diaby, who I feel Leverkusen is playing to a higher standard. It's not that I don't think they're good players. It's not that I'm not saying to take a chance, but for me to be 100% convinced, sometimes I need to see your play. Like you need to play to a significant level, and I need to see the intelligence improve for a prolonged period. And I haven't necessarily seen that with him yet. You know, he's injured at the moment. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I like him. Still, he's one of them I want to monitor closely. Don't think it's the thing yet. If he comes, he could be developed and whatnot, of course. But it is what it is, man. We'll have to see. Hey, man, I would love to. You know, have you seen the penalties I'm giving away? You lot would kill me on AFTV and whatnot. That Deluded doesn't know what he's doing. He's just sliding in. He's not thinking. He's playing like Aurier. You lot would slew me, bro. But, you know, I'd like to think if I fit me, he's better than Jenkinson, so I'll give it a look. But I would like to see Lamperty, man. You know, I wish football was logical, because them Lamperties and them ones, they're young, 20 million. He signs for the club now. That's 40-50 now, in my opinion. And Chelsea, by their own standards, sold man for peanuts. So it is what it is, man. And that might be something that, you know, sways him more to Arsenal. You know, why wait till you can develop a bit more and then leave, you know? One reason Szoboszlai is at Arsenal is because I can't buy a game for Madrid. You know, it is food for thought, my guy, and it's true. You know, they could buckle under the pressure and sell in January, and you know, again, hopefully we find ourselves in a position where it's almost like we have a free run or a free hit at our work, because it looked like the clubs that would be interested in him. You know, you look at the Barca's and Madrid's and Munich's and all of these teams, it looked like they had a mixture of other interests, you know, not having money or having money and thinking, you know what, we need to improve in other places. We'll go for you in a year, sort of thing. Juventus as well. Do you get it, man? Bro, Charles would have been a new Bellerin, bro. They would have been on, man. So, yeah, man, I would love to see it. You know, you'd imagine they sell Memphis to pay, you know. He's going to leave for free. And, again, if they're in financial problems, like you said, then they can't afford to let him go, man. Yeah, bro, you have to scroll back to the beginning, but he went to Dubai, and obviously when you get headlines like this, he shot himself in the foot. He doesn't go anywhere. It's not spoken about, but we don't know, man. It's true, you know. But the thing is with Alwa, I think all of these clubs will take him, but they're not going to die if he doesn't come. And that's one thing as well, Subi. He's not going to get goals and assists. He's a dictator sort of player, you know. He's got a lot of refining to do. He's significantly better than what we have. So I don't mind it, man. A man said he went to do up Salt Bay versus Pepe Bay. Probably, my guy. Probably. Let me see if there's any Arsenal news. Not really anything new in relation to Arsenal. That guy, he's the Monaco lad, isn't it? Or he's at Monaco. I don't know too much about him, but he looks decent technically. He's a player I'm going to have to do more research on, my guy. He looks decent from what I've seen, but I ain't got an informed opinion to tell you everything, really, so I don't want to lie to you. But from what I've seen, it looks like there's something there technically, my dude. Trying to see if there's any other Arsenal news or anything Arsenal of relevance. I mean, we've spoken about Willian. If you don't know, sadly, Kolasinac has contracted coronavirus. Yeah, we've spoken about Isco. There isn't much more to it. Yeah, there isn't anything, man. I might as well just take you guys' questions, man. Right, swear down. Swear, well, you should have big dreams, and if that's his dream, he should do what he wants, man. But bear man say that's their dreams. They say it with Arsenal, say it with Chelsea as well. So, yeah, man, you know, if he keeps developing, them things there will happen. But, you know, I'd implore you to do your own research, because I don't know him too tough, man, don't you, man? Like you said, likes people. Aslan has said, if you could bring in 2 signings in Jan, who and what positions? We can't buy him, but Florian Weltz, I can't say his name. He's a Leverkusen 17, 18-year-old lad. Like him a lot, man. Developing a lot. Going to be a lovely creative midfielder. If it, you know, the dream mode, if that could be done, I would love Yari Vestashen. You know, I'd love us to try and get Buendia. I'd say Buendia and Szoboszlai, really and truly. Big up Michael Thomas. We do need to play the kids, but at the same time, they've got to be ready, my guy. I must admit. Bro, I want Malik Till and I want Jamal Musiala from Bayern Munich. You know, Musiala's got it all, man. He scored for his he scored his first under-21s under-21s game. You know, he's a quality player. He's gonna be it all, man. You're just waiting on him to develop physically. Not that he's weak or anything. You can just see he's still in a boy's body as he goes through puberty and does what he needs to do and does all the Bayern Munich Captain America stuff that Goretzka had. He's going to be an animal. He's firmly a player that England need with this next generation for me. And I also think Malik Till is a baller, people. Malik Till's got a lot to his game. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure why he's not playing on a frequent basis, but I like him from what I've seen. Gunnar Leah said, I saw your highlights. You left-footed all right. Right. But occasionally I shoot with my left and I play left back, so I try to do what I can, man. Swear. Well, that means they're resigned to letting him go. They know he's going then, isn't it? Similar to when they let Minamino go and whatnot, man. When you put it like that, Miles, that's a great question, and it does mean that we're whining. You know, you look at that. I know I'm not saying FA Cups are the greatest things, but some people might be saying, "Hang on, you're complaining, but you've won a number of FA Cups. You spent 72 million and all of these things." I'd say the devil's in the detail. I'd say false promises, mismanagement of spending, and a bunch of the other things, man. As to why that's happened, my guy. Did you watch Jamaica last night? Yeah, bro. Rafael Morrison played. We got 3 points. I can't complain, man. I saw the highlights. I didn't watch the game. But shout out to Rafael Morrison and whatnot, man. Khalil said, instead of buying Alwa, would you rather buy Szoboszlai and Diarra? I'd be interested in either one, man, because, you know, there'd be two midfield options for us to play with, man. Yeah, we're spending on the wrong players. We're overspending and we're not thinking. I wouldn't say deserves more game time, but I think he's playing his way into getting more game time, and it's down to him to do what he wants, man. So we'll have to see, man. We take him. You know, he's not going to get game time at Barcelona in the near to distant future, based on what Koeman's allegedly said. So I'd take him. I would take him. Would love him at Arsenal, man. What else you lot saying, man? Hit the like button. Come on, man. You know what I think. Come on. Thoughts on Grealish? Short and sweet. He's a baller. I hope he bads it up tonight, really and truly. I hope he plays well today. You know, he's a fantastic footballer. What else is there to say about Jack Grealish? He's a very talented player. Oh, don't say Tierney's injured, bro. Don't say Tierney's injured. Tierney couldn't. I typed in his name and he's not coming up. So we might have been blessed. You buying me one, bro? If you're buying me one, yeah, bro. If you're buying me one or you lot are gonna donate and cop me one, yeah, bro. I'll get that still. Let me. Nah, bro, I can't see nothing. Hey, someone's asked me my thoughts on Fabian Ruiz. Absolute baller. I wanted him when he was at Villarreal, as you can see with the videos. Thoughts on Guendouzi. I love him, but I understand that. I understand. It's not that I'm angry at Arteta. I understand, because it seems like it's the straw that broke the camel's back. It seems like, Arteta knows Guendouzi is a quality player, but he's just a headache. All the things we have spoken about on my live streams and we've spoken about in relation to Arsenal, or even what Arteta needs to improve, let's say you have to deal with all of that, and you have to deal with Leeds in the weekend, and you have to deal with everything the world is saying, and Guendouzi's nonsense. It's just an unnecessary headache. You don't want to do it. So I think it's just it's a point where ability is gone. He's not on it. If it was a straight swap without considering age and fees and wages and the rest of it, just on ability, yeah, every day. I just think he's a fan of wherever the influence can come, man. Come on, let's get this up, man. Come on, 150 likes shouldn't be too much. My guy, I would like, we can't get Camavinga. I'm not too sure. Samore's contract running out. I would like another box-to-box midfielder, like I was saying earlier, to play with Partey. Arsenal for life has said England win the World Cup or Arsenal win the Champions League. Easy. Arsenal win the Champions League, man. Easy. I'll be all right, man. He'll be all right. Shout out to Saka for starting. He's played his way into that, man. He was good against Ireland. He was good off the bench against Belgium. He's earned his start, man. You know, it's cool, man. It's cool. You know, we'll fly back to Arsenal. You know, he'll probably be in some sort of recovery session tomorrow, which is Thursday. Well, a man said fly back. He'll report back to Arsenal tomorrow. Obviously, have a recovery session. Friday, the boys will probably train, you know, and then Saturday, they'll probably do what they need to do, whether that's a light session and then, you know, going up to Yorkshire to prepare for the Leeds game or whatever. I do share your thought because, you know, Saka's played a lot of football, but this is the current, this comes with the territory, man. This is where he's in right now. This is where he is, man. See some comments. Start asking me about next man, people. I wouldn't mind that, my guy. I wouldn't mind that. But like you said, assuming Guendouzi patterns, which I couldn't see, I wouldn't mind it. But I would like to see, you know, I think with that, and if Guendouzi does mature and plays and becomes the player I believe he can play, can become and play the way I believe he can play, I think you'd still need that out and out 10, or if you're going to go with a flat midfield three, that dynamic number 8 that wants to score, if not score, ensure his strikers score, man. Yeah, but it all depends, man. You know, Saka isn't exactly Wayne Rooney or Jack Wilshere. He does play a lot of games, but you got to remember the shit. You got to remember the I can see the similarities, and it definitely does make sense. But you remember, you know, Wilshere, I'd say Cess and Rooney more. They were playing a ridiculous amount. They were, you know, we're not looking at them as young players. They were certified individuals, in which Saka is, but it's a bit different. I feel Saka's being saved every now and again. Even last season when we was calling him for him to start at times and the handbrake was being put up by Arteta, I didn't mind it. I must admit, I must be one of them. I think Joe should get more game time, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Would I probably start him against Leeds? No, I wouldn't. Now his form has been better than someone like Szoboszlai, and if Joe played, I would love him to play and have a stormer, and you lot would be within your rights to come and say, oh, DG, boom, 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 you can't do this and that, you can't say that, you can't do this, look how silly you looked. I want that, but I don't think he's levels yet. I think he should definitely get minutes off the bench, and then, you know, when we do put up a run of form, you know, let's see what can happen. I'm not gonna lie to you, next 3 games, you know, am I looking at Joe Willock to start? Anything can happen, potentially not. You never know what could happen in the future, but not in the meantime, because you need to spend big money on them. You know, that's Neymar, that's Mbappe, that's all them sort of man there. I'm not going to watch it straight away. I'm going to watch it later. I'm going to record it and watch it. So, yeah, I will be watching it like you lot, dreaming about Szoboszlai in Emirates, in the Emirates and wearing the Arsenal colours, people. I don't even think it's just Spurs fans, mate. Don't even think it's just Spurs fans, Miles. Saka's, and then, like I said earlier, he's putting people to shame, man. Putting people to shame. To be honest, you need to earn a run of form, and if it's going to kill your confidence, you know, you need to. That's what it shouldn't kill your confidence. If you feel you're doing everything you need to do and your opportunity's not coming, sit down with the club and think about your decision. You're at Arsenal, you know, you're at a top club, you're playing in the Premier League and whatnot. You know, you have to get out your feelings. It's not a thing like that, but it is what it is, man. People, I'm not going to lie, I want to freshen up and stuff before England actually play. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. But it's been a fantastic hour with you guys, people. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you check out those YouTube memberships. Make sure you check out my other videos. Head over to AFTV as well and show DG some love. You know, I was on Curtis Shaw and Laurie's show. Talk is cheap. So yeah, man, there's a lot of DG content. You know, there's going to be more content for me coming out. You're going to see the Leeds versus Arsenal preview. There might be a couple of other videos. I always ask for you lot to help me out on my YouTube community tabs with topics. If you've seen them come up or interesting talking points, hit me up. It doesn't need to be about Arsenal. You know me, I'm a fan of football first, Arsenal second. I'll always love my club, but I love to talk about football, man. Like you said, like M said, big up the thing. Come on, man, hit the like button. And I appreciate each and every one of you that have tuned in, man. And I hope I've given you a decent evening. Now, if you're cooking your food, if you're looking after your kids, if you're waiting for the England game, if you're waiting for the Hungary game, you know, I hope I've given you an hour or so and prepared you into that mood. I'll be back again soon, people. But for now, DG, out.